Hello and welcome to the show. Now, in many ways, I'm sure many of you will agree, it is a rather sad fact that at the moment SUVs are rather taking over the car world. There are still some interesting vehicles out there, however, there are a lot, awful lot of terrible SUVs. I'm not a fan of them. Of course, I can understand why manufacturers are going this way to remain profitable at the end of the day. Manufacturers like Lamborghini and Porsche and Aston Martin even, have got to try and make some money to be able to build the interesting, exciting cars, and people buy SUVs. I can see why. Doesn't mean I particularly like it, but we have got plenty of these SUVs around the place now. And some of them, like the Lamborghini, like the Porsche Macans and so on, are designed to be, still relatively quick. Okay, they're not going to be up there with the very fastest supercars and hypercars, but they are still going to be relatively fast, which got us thinking, how would these perhaps a little more sporty orientated SUVs fare when they go racing up against, well, classic sports cars from their respective brands? Because of course in Forza all the vehicles are given a rating number based on their stats or speed, grip and all of that sort of thing. And some of these SUVs are very similar to the kind of classic back catalogue, if you like, of their respective manufacturers. Could the modern, quite big, quite heavy barges actually really stand a chance against the classic, in some case, very iconic sports cars? So, for our first race, for our first couple of races, I am going to be representing Team SUV here. We have got 6 Lamborghini Uruses going up against 6 Diablos. The game has been rather kind to the SUV in this one. I mean, that's that's very kind of you, game. That's very kind indeed. And of course, the Uruses are all-wheel drive. They will launch off the line better than those Diablos. I mean, it's an uphill start as well for the poor Diablos to have to contend with. So we get off the line. I think we get off the line pretty well. The Diablo, let's not forget, has still got some massive rear tyres. It's not exactly like it's terrible getting launched. However, there's going to be a wall of SUV for the Diablo to have to try and work its way through. But the Diablo is the quicker vehicle down the straights, as you might expect. Let's face it, it isn't a big old block like the Urus is here. Oh, there's understeer. There's going to be understeer from both of them. Again, let's not forget, Diablo, very, very small front tyres, very, very large rear tyres. Does make it some understeer. Now, if we fill the road with Urus, we'll make it really difficult for the Diablos to get past. I feel like that might be cheating. Well, no, it's tactically we're using... Oh, bloody hell, it's already gone. The blue Diablo is already to the outside. Now, really what we want is some... Urus to run away at the front and the rest of us to hold up the Diablo hordes. The Diablos are quite quick, not going to lie. They are stuck in horrific traffic at the moment. There is so bad traffic for the poor Diablos. One's going to shoot past the outside of me. I don't know where it's going to go, though, if it gets to this group. It's going to be very, very difficult to deal with this group. It's just going to have to sneak... But it's going to have to sort of pick off Uruses one by one. Because if we're all grouped together, it's just too much metal almost to try and overtake. We're going to get past one of the other... Uruses? Sure. We're going to go with that as the plural of them. Oh, the Diablo's to the outside here. It's going to really have to work. I mean, it can have more grip than us, but it's still a very long way. You have to have a lot more grip. And it's very brave around the outside of that particular corner. They're both going to be slow off of the turn here. We get a really, really good run. We actually get a better run than the car behind. We may well move up to 3rd place here. I mean, we're kind of fighting for the same team a little bit, but I still want to do as well as I can. I'm pretty sure it got a nudge from behind there and actually got pushed forward by the Diablo. I'm not going to get pushed out wide. No, the friendly fire has screwed us in that one. We were ahead of it. Well, a little bit of friendly fire, almost. We were ahead of it. We then got assisted out of the other car got assisted. The Diablo's on the grass. That's not going to help it. The Urus doesn't really care if it ends up on the grass. It is an advantage these have. And we are doing tarmac races for this. If we went off-road, of course, it would be a very, very different story. But for the sake of this one, yes, it is all tarmac. We're getting assistance now from our teammate, who also probably doesn't want to be slowed down in all of this. Oh, God. There's not enough places to go in this. They're really up. Sorry, Impega. There was a Diablo was a lot more committed, or is committed to the inside, although Impega's going to get both of us through there. I might actually now sneak underneath the Diablo. I might actually sneak back past Impega as well. It's like a triple cutback going on in the mid-pack. What a mad corner. We've come out of that in 5th. We're fine. That was a fantastic little exchange. The Diablos are coming, though. Their top speed down this straight is what kind of killed her. The Urus is actually a little bit better in the corners. Perhaps not surprising. It's also a little bit better out of the corners. It's sort of mid-corner and corner exit. That's where the Urus is very good. It's got a little bit more mid-corner grip than the Diablo, and, of course, traction. Just that all-wheel drive launch out of the corner is good. However, I think we are going to now lose that position to the black and yellow Diablo, unless it makes a mistake into turn 1, which it does not. We are going to be stuck in 6th place. Although we actually get a good, again, we get a good exit, but I've got nowhere to go with it. That's the problem I'm going to find here. Unfortunately, we had speed to maybe even be getting sort of, well, winning the Urus battle. However, we've been a little bit unlucky in places. Longbow's going to try the outside. I mean, I left Diablo's gap, but it was literally just a Diablo's gap in all of that, and we will keep ourselves ahead. The thing is, though, it doesn't almost matter at this point, unless... Oh, okay, Longbow did make a mistake. Longbow ran wide and hit the wall. I was gonna say, unless there was a mistake, they just blast past us down the straight. However, there was a little running wide, as does happen sometimes. And Pega's back behind us again, although that's still going to be fighting with Longbow. Going at this next corner. Oh, no, I can't do anything about the cars ahead. I clobber the wall a little bit less than the vehicle ahead of me. Liam's made a mistake, and Pega's actually had a really big dive up the inside there. May actually make that one work. We can't really turn down all that much here. This is so busy. Over 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, we're all in a group. Box Longbow in if at all possible here. Longbow may well want to have a dive at the back of Impega's car. I was trying to cut back underneath, but Longbow got it stopped, but got some big oversteer on the exit of the corner. I will say thank you very much for that one. We will get that back. It's a ridiculous battle. I mean, the Diablos are quicker in this. There is no doubt about it. The Diablos that got to the front have run away. I mean, we can have a fun battle. However, as far as a victor goes, it will be the Diablos. We've caused all sorts of chaos for the Diablos, owing to the fast launch that we got, relatively kind grid spots, and not being completely terrible. Yeah, this isn't completely terrible. Not completely terribly slow, but it's not really... Oh, God, I did not expect that car to try and fit to the inside there. Oh, I'm going to get boxed out something rubbish here, although Scotty's going to run out of grip on the outside. Scotty couldn't make the corner. I don't think I lent on it, particularly. Oh, we're going to dive to the inside. With I didn't want to smack the back of the car ahead, but it was kind of... I had to take that line to try and fight off Longbow. If we lent on the car ahead, it was fine. We do actually beat them in the battle. We beat Longbow just across the line. What a mad race. I think the game actually gave it to Longbow, as it always does in our little battles. So we ignore the actual finishing position there from the game. The Diablo is the quicker car. They get 1, 2, 3. We got 4, 5, 6. I should have had a 7th as well with the Urus. They could hold up the Diablos. That was about it. They could hold the Diablos up for a little while, and when we're 5 and 4 wide in corners, it's also, you know, quite difficult for the Diablos to make a pass work. But, yeah. Sports cars, thankfully, mercifully, win round 1. So, for our next race, we move to Porsche, where I shall be driving the Macan Turbo. Oh, and I'm the furthest placed up the grid with the Macan Turbos. Ooh. Well, the game has not been as kind to the SUVs. A much fairer grid, really, going on with this. So yeah, we've got Macan Turbos up against the 968. Just slightly, I'd say slightly less expected. You'd probably expect a 911, but PI is closer. It's kind of... It's cool to have something a little bit different. I don't know what we're going to see with these two at all. Naturally, we expect the Macan to lead into the first corner. We have the all-wheel drive launch. However, after that, we will have to wait and see. Now, there are some slow corners on this track that the Macan might not do too badly at. I was nowhere near brave enough through there. That was my bad. Oh, because the Macan is very heavy in this field, but it probably will have more power than the 968. Lot worse aerodynamics, though. Oh, we've come out of ghost mode. Okay, that's fine. We will sit alongside... Oh, top end is much closer between these two than it was with the Urus and the Diablo. Now, I would expect the 968 to be better through the corners. Oh, Scotty's got it wrong. Scotty's got it wrong and found all the rocks. I had to kind of avoid it, and now we're going to have another Macan fighting its way past to the inside. We may have to have a little bit of a lift and kind of get out of that one. Right. Okay, so yeah, these two do seem fairly very close, actually, through all of this. Can we find a way past for the lead here? Not quite close enough for a dive at turn 1. Scotty's want to make it side by side through this sort of final corner. It's always difficult going too wide through there. Always worried about hitting the wall or something stupid. Don't really know where I need to brake for this section. Oh god, little bit of little bit of argy-bargy. I don't want to push Scotty out of the checkpoint, of course. Still want to make the corners. We're going to run wide on the exit. I'm expecting to see the nose of a green car pull alongside with the cutback there. Indeed, it is trying to get that done. Now, this does help the leader. It does help a fellow Macan out. If that can pull away a smidge up at the front while we fight, that would work. There's a really big group of cars behind. Now, this corner got the better of the 968 last time out. I think it may be a smidge quicker than us, you know. That's the downside here. How late can we brake down here? It's not by a huge amount, though, and it does get a big kick of oversteer, and all of that advantage almost vanishes in one corner. Could we get a good run and maybe sneak it up the inside? No, it was worth a look. It was a thought, a contemplation of a dive, but no, we haven't quite. It's very... Oh, God, there's another one behind me now. It's close, Macan. It's very close. It's not quite enough. If the leaders fight, if the leader can defend for a few corners, may bring me back into contention here. Oh, Scotty's overdriven it, so have I. We're all in a little bit of bother here. We want to get up the inside. We're using the SUV for its off-road ability. It's a smidge there. Oh, tried everything. I don't think I touched the car ahead. If I did, then I don't know, it was a bit of a weird push if we did turn it. It certainly got sideways on its own on the extra that. I think the 968 are again just a little tiny bit faster here. They're starting to swarm around a little bit, and I don't like it. I'm really hoping that car does not want to have a go at the inside through here. That's such a difficult corner to get a pass done. Such a difficult overtaking position, although they're going to fight each other. That also works for me. Pink car tries around the outside, can't stop it in time. He's going to actually lose a place to its teammate, I would expect, through all of that. Has the fighting given the lead Macan the time here? There's got a big enough gap. Might be an exciting final lap. I'm trying to just fend off for the podium here. We might get a sort of half a lap breather at least. The rest of the Macans, I mean, we're dotted about through the field. It is a lot more even spread in this one. Generally, the 968s are working their way forward, though. Now, we have not really had a good run through turn 1 and 2 so far. That was much better than we had been seeing in the previous laps. We'll go one more time. We have to make sure we get it right. So we can be a little sneaky there. That is a corner where we can make up some time, the hairpin. We get A, doesn't matter if we put wheels on the grass. B, low speed. We have all the traction in the world, and I'm not sure the 968 quite does. Are we going to see... No, we're not going to see an ambitious move at the inside here. We can just run... Oh. Okay, well, we carried a lot of speed through there, which was good. It got very close to missing checkpoints, and we are far enough away that the 968 can't dive through here. It's tantalisingly close, but we are just not quite quick enough. We just need a tiny bit more power. That would make the difference, or a tiny bit less weight would be what the Macan would need. Either or would work, to be honest with you, because we're going to have to really defend. If there's going to be any chance of a Macan winning this, the leader is going to have to defend like mad down this one. We've got a car alongside through here. We do keep ourselves ahead. It's going to be 2x2 for the lead. Can we be super late on the brakes? No, it was too late. It was too late on the brakes. Oh, there's big contact, and Scotty's got around. Pinged off the door of the black car. I wasn't even looking. I was busy fighting my own battle, really, through all of that. I don't know how it quite pinged off the door. It certainly did have an issue through all of that. I could not quite get my car stopped into turn 1. Trying to defend. We got a little bit carried away. We've got another one for company at the moment. It's just being swarmed by the damn things in this. Can we fend off against that one for the remainder of this? Oh, I've turned it too soon through all of there. Saving grace is just going to hit some of the rocks out of the way. Liam's missed a checkpoint and has fallen back. There's a massive fight for second that may actually give a Macan the victory here in all of this. in all of this. I mean, the Macans technically win this on points. In terms of a pace setting, the 968 is quicker. You know, actual physical lap time, the 968 is the quicker car. We will get 1st, 4th and 5th, and 6th, I believe, as well, in all of this. A little bit of lag went on up ahead. Oh, a bit of a scruffy final lap from me. A bit disappointing, really. Should have been better, could have been closer. It is a 4th place, at least. Yeah, I mean, the lap times were close. Me, Danger Man, were doing fairly similar times with the Macans, 12.9, 12.8 to 12.6s. So... yeah, we weren't too far away. In fact, Longbow was going very quickly further back. I presume some missed checkpoints, possibly, from Longbow and Liam in that one. Ballsed up a little bit at the end, but a very good race up until that point. So it is my turn to now run in the sports cars. We are going to Maserati. Up next, we have the Gran Turismo. Oh, and I start from pole position. That's quite good. The Levantes have been a little bit... apparently the game's been really kind to my team, it would seem. The Levantes have had a bit of a tough time. Now, the Levantes are, of course, all-wheel drive. They will have a slightly better launch than the Gran Turismo. And I'm not going to lie, the Gran Turismo is not exactly a light car. At all. In fact, I don't know the weight of the Levante, but I bet it's not that much heavier than the Gran Turismo at all here. I don't know if they're quite going to be quick enough. Okay, they're not crazy fast off the line, the Levantes, so we will have to see how it goes. I like the Gran Turismo. It's a nice car. It's a nice car to look at aside from the wheels. Driving-wise, it's not exactly the most dynamic thing in the world, but yeah, I don't know. It's about the Gran Turismo. It's just a nice thing. We have got the bright green car trouble. Bright green Levante. We typically, if I go into a sports car, is this the time where the sports car is a slower one in a straight line? No, I think we might still have the measure of the Levante top end. It's close, but I think we probably do in this one. Can we go around the outside here? It's going to be a long way around, and then, because of course we're going to... oh, it's still going to be on the outside for this corner. Yeah, we might be able to cut back, though, to the inside for the exit. That's what we want. Now, this is giving Impega a pretty good chance in this. The more I fight with Scotty, the better chance Impega has, as we are now going to pull past that Levante. This is also, by far and away, the closest we have match in terms of age of vehicle. The Gran Turismo is not exactly that old. It's not really a classic sports car like the others that are being run. However, to be fair, when was the Gran Turismo in the game? Is it 2012, 2010? I don't know. The Gran Turismo's been around for a while. It's not exactly the most up-to-date car either. So, yeah, you know, it's... regardless, the PIs are close enough that it works for this test. By the looks of it, performance isn't too bad. Do you think the Gran Turismo is maybe just a smidge quicker here? I don't really want to have my wheel in the dirt there, particularly. Levante won't care too much about that. I would imagine... certainly the Urus is on some sort of sport tyres from stock, if you will. I'd imagine most of the SUVs we're going to have in this aren't actually on off-road compound tyres or any sort of off-roady tyres. Now, oh, I've got that corner all sorts of wrong, although, as have the Levantes a little bit behind, it's not the worst thing in the world. So, at the moment, we have got 2 Gran Turismos leading the way, 2 SUVs in 3rd and 4th, then we have a couple more Gran Turismos and 3 more Gran Turismos. It's definitely... I mean, the Gran Turismo are doing well around this circuit. We can't do anything about the grid as such. However, all the previous races, we saw it sorts itself out if the cars are quick enough. Impega ran very wide through all of that. If we can have a nice, neat lap, maybe we can start reeling in the leader a little bit. Don't slide the car about too much. I mean, there's this ever-present danger from the car behind. There is always that danger of the bright green machine. If I make one mistake, all it takes is if we get on the throttle a little too soon, if we slide the car around here just that little bit too much or a little too late on the brakes trying to catch Impega, and it will let the Levante catch up, although we have had a really good run through there. If anything, it looks like Clark is coming to join in the battle, may be able to make a pass on that car for 4th position. We'll have to wait and see. Yeah, we're just gradually eking that gap out a little bit. It's kind of a bit of a similar story to what we've seen in the previous races, although I made a mistake through turn 1 there. Just a little too late on the brakes when we lost almost not quite half a second, we lost a good few tenths of a second in all of that. Yeah, it's very similar to what we saw with the Porsches. The Diablos were a little bit different. Admittedly, that circuit, just that long straight, is what killed the Urus. But this is very similar to what we saw with the Porsches. The sports car is a smidge quicker. It's not by a crazy large amount, but the sports car is a little bit faster in general. And I think here, I don't think it's just straight line speed. Certainly the Gran Turismo is a little better, but I do think it is a smidge nicer in the corners as well. Oh, although we almost get a little bit of a slide going on through there. It's not really what I wanted on the penultimate lap, particularly. We should have been a little bit neater, because we've actually now got company for this one. So we may have to defend down into turn, not quite into turn 1. It's still too far back to have a dive. None of the cars are going to be taking crazy dives. They're all big and heavy vehicles. We will run into this first corner, through. Yeah, we actually got a good run through there this time out as well, which is nice. So yeah, I mean, if I don't do anything stupid with the Gran Turismo, I believe it is the quicker car. As I say that, I did something stupid. I just did a rear wheel on the grass through there. He's now right behind. We may have to cover at the top of the hill. We may be out of range though, as we had a half-decent run through all of that. Yeah, it's going to be very difficult to have a dive for Scotty here. You're not really within. It'd have to be such a huge dive, and there isn't the braking difference in the cars for that to ever work. Scotty's hoping I make a mistake again. Scotty's looking for a wheel on the grass from the Gran Turismo, something that upsets it. We don't do anything like that. We maybe get a little bit of understeer mid-corner through all of there. Levante is close behind. However, there's nothing it's going to be able to do about this one. It's going to be a 1-2 for the Gran Turismo. It's not my finest piece of driving. We should have been closer to Impega, really. A couple of silly mistakes. By the looks of it, it is going to be the SUVs in 3rd and 4th. They were there. You know, they were there or thereabouts. Lap time-wise, is not going to be that different. Really, it really wasn't all that different, actually, between the fastest of the SUVs. Yeah, I mean, even down in 8th and 9th, they were still going pretty damn quick with them Levantes. They were a little bit tough on the old start positions, and they just couldn't quite recover from that. So there we go. Very, very close race. Sports cars do take victory. You will be pleased to know. So for the final round of the SUVs versus the sports cars, we've come to Jaguar, where we have got actually fairly well spread out grid a little bit. We've got the F-PACE, still quite a lot of lightweight E-types up the order, actually. Yeah, we have probably the biggest age gap in this. Now, there is I'd say a little bit more PI difference than perhaps some of these. There's a slightly different class difference. The F-PACE is actually a very good car in this game, and the E-Type is a little sketchy to drive. So it should be interesting to see. At the end of the day, the F-PACE is actually going to have quite a big advantage in terms of tyres. That should be the main difference. The E-Type, well, this is a lightweight E-Type we're driving. Funnily enough, in the name, it's quite light, and by the looks of it, very fast down the straights. So we're going to have a fun through all of this. So there goes the F-PACE through the corners. Oh god, I didn't quite realise there was going to be such a difference between the vehicles in terms of grip. Probably should have done, but I mean, here comes the speed of the E-Type. Look at it go. It absolutely flies along when we get to a straight. Ooh, we've just got to now try and calm it down for a corner there. Again, spin the wheels a little bit. Right, launch up towards the back of Liska's car. Can we get a pass done? I can get a pass done into the final corner. Maybe. Oh, it's a little ambitious by me, if I'm honest with you. That was a smidge ambitious, I'm not going to lie. I mean, it was one of those. I didn't actually realise I didn't realise it was that ambitious. I didn't realise we were going to struggle that much with the slowing down of the car. I do think we might lose out to the pink machine here. I think that might be gone. You know what, Impega, if you want to go past, for the sake of the honour for the E-Type Jags, you can go chase after. Well, you can go chase after / try and hold on to second, while we desperately are going to fend off from the gold machine that probably doesn't like me very much. We are going to have to do. It's going to be defensive work. Now, we know from many experiences of team adventures just how difficult it can be. That's a really good pass. That's a really good pass. It's going to get both of us if we're not careful here. Does get me, won't quite get Impega, and will come. I don't think Liska realised we were going to the outside. It was a little bit of a wobbly line for us. As a really, really good pass it made on us. The thing is, it's going to have that horrible race time where it's going to be sat behind the car that it just cannot match around the corners. not sorry, around the corners, but down the straights. And as soon as it gets to the corners, it gets held up by the speedy but not grippy thing. I mean, if you put this on the same tyres as the F-PACE would win by an absolute mile. This is, I want to say vintage race, but I'm pretty sure it isn't actually. Because I think they can go on to vintage race, but whatever sort of vintage tyres they're on, whatever classic compound, it just doesn't give you the grip. And Pega is doing a very good job with driving it. I'm struggling a smidge with this car. And Pega may even be able to go chase down the leader in all of this. We'll have to wait and see. Yeah, Gliska is struggling a little bit. It's just that perennial battle of it just cannot get past these ultra-speedy cars. In this track, of the tracks we've gone to, is probably the least favourable for the ultra-speed. Although, to be fair, some of the other tracks actually aren't all that favourable for the ultra-speedy either. Depends on how they're built. Like there's some of the medium-speed corners can really scupper cars that don't have enough grip. We've kind of ended up, this might be another race where we end up a little bit sat in a no man's land, not able to do very much here. Oh, there goes the fence out of the way. That's fine, because we have now started pulling away from... We've pulled away from Gliska's 4th place F-PACE in this one. So, I mean, Ollie's doing a really good job at the front. That's pretty much unhindered off the start line, and we're really struggling now to catch it. It's a 5-second gap. And Pega hit the street furniture. And Pega was doing a good job, but clonked the street furniture and lost probably any sort of momentum. Like actual fastest race lap's going to be an interesting thing to have at the end of this one, I should think. Yeah, we are pulling away now a little bit from the likes of Scotty. Right, so we're going to cross the start-finish line. What is the gap? 4.9 seconds to the leader. So we're going to see next lap around. Is that gap changing? We know a lot of that gap was made early on, although if I do that, it probably is going to change because we completely messed up that corner and that one a little bit. Not quite as badly. But, what I turned in, I got all sorts of weight transfer going on through there that I didn't want. Nope. Some stiffer suspension. Stiffer suspension and better tyre, funnily enough. That would make this a very good car. It is a pretty good car. It can be quite a good car. Oh, come on. Yeah, see that section there, you can see the difference in the gap to the leader. We're kind of watching a bit at the moment. The cars behind are there, and it's not changing crazy amounts. So yeah, that final sector, that's just where we lose all of the time. It's now up to 5.8 seconds. So we're probably losing half a second a lap, maybe, to the leader. Admittedly, that was a scruffy lap. Might even still be. Yeah, we're not great around this circuit. We can gain some time, but it's not going to be enough. Through most of the first part of the lap, we're fine. Even through these corners, we have enough power to make it up. But yeah, just these sort of the final little section is what kills it. Up here, we can actually gain a little bit of time as well. Oh, it's going to slip and slide its way through that long corner. And through the next turn we go. No problems whatsoever. And yeah, we just lost too much. We just lose way too much through that section. And Pega was finding a bit more speed than I was out of the car. If anything, this car doesn't really suit me. I'm not really getting the most out of it. We're actually very wide at the final corner. That's not what I want to do in the slightest. We bump the wall. However, it is going to be E-types in 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 7th, I think. Let's have a look at lap times. I'm curious to see what Impega was doing compared to the leader. Not as fast. Close, but not as quick. Yeah, the F-PACE did slightly have the lap time advantage in very, very, say, rare occasions. It could just about. However, the E-Type was so much quicker down the straights, it was just too difficult to pass. It was just so difficult to overtake it around this sort of circuit that in a racing situation, if the E-Type got ahead, it was, yeah, going to be a long race staring at the back. At least it's a pretty car to have in front of you if you can't overtake it. So, you know, that is at least something. And we get another podium, which is always good. So, there we have it. The conclusion that, I'll be honest, I was hoping for, probably all of you were hoping for, is at the end of the day, the sports cars won. Well, sports, supercars, GT cars, you get the idea. All of the normal cars were either equal to, in the case of the Gran Turismo, it was very close to the Levante. I think depending on the track, you may get varying results, but they were very, very close. The Diablo was faster. Okay, again, really specific circuits, you might get a more even spread, but in general, that Diablo is going to beat the Urus. The Porsche is going to beat the Macan, the 968, and the E-Type Jag, unless it's on a really twisty circuit. The E-Type was so quick down the straights, in fact, in that particular battle that, yeah, the cars won in this one. There was some very good fun racing along the way. There's certainly some entertaining racing. The SUVs did keep up, but I am pleased to say in this one that the cars very much did win. Anyway, that is going to be it for this video. Thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, a goodbye.